Now I'm gonna feel like I'm swinging over top the ball and left more, holding the face open instead of straight back under and closing the face. All right guys, so we're going down this little short game route while the weather's perfect, honestly. And we've talked about a basic and short game with your downhill setup, 3 different types of wrist conditions you can use. We've talked about distance wedging a little bit. We've talked about how to hit high and low and medium trajectories really easily with a really easy technique. And today I'm gonna show you something a little bit more high speed, a little bit more skill. And we're gonna talk about drawing and fading your chip shots. You don't hear about this very often, but this is what tour players are doing when you have like side slope. So if you got like a left or right slope as a righty, hitting a little draw spin on that chip kind of lets it hold that line and doesn't bleed off as much. So it's a very interesting way to play around with some more short game prowess. Lets you be have a little more tools in the toolbox. So let's get into that. And we're gonna talk about how you can do that. Obviously we know how to hit draws and fades. I'm just gonna give you some tips and tricks that I use to make that a little bit more feasible. Before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and leave comments below. Let me know what you like and what you think about the video series, as I appreciate your support so far as we grow the channel. So with that, let's jump into this video. Let's work on that short game. All right, gang, so today I'm gonna show you a little something, a little bit more high speed and short game prowess that you might not have thought about, or might not have tried. So a lot of times when we get on situations around the green, you might have a big banking slope, or sloping left to right, right to left. And as a right-handed golfer, if I have a left to right sloping green, I can spin it with a little bit of draw spin and hold its line. And so we can manipulate some of these elements to keep the ball rolling a little bit straighter. Draw spin sometimes rolls out a little bit more. That cutty spin sometimes stops a little faster, though today with the Doobie golf balls I got right now, probably not going to be the case. But either way, we're going to show you a couple tips and tricks that I do to kind of work that shot. So again, let's just say we're going to learn how to hit a draw shot right now. And say the situation calls for that we have a little bit of left to right slope, and it's kind of peel off to the right if I don't find a way to hold its line. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll peep the ball back in my stance a little bit. That's going to help facilitate a little bit more inside out path. I'm still staying pretty square to my target, all my normal setup features, and then I'm just going to try and work a little bit more of an inside out route in my downswing. So what we're going to do here is I'm not going to try and pull the club inside in the takeaway. I'm going to keep the club head out and then loop it kind of like a Jim Furyk, Matt Wolff style. And the one thing I would tell you that he'd caution at, and I'm kind of guilty of it, is we don't want to drive the knees to create that inside out route. It's still a very armsy, handsy kind of motion, and that'll help produce a little draw spin. So let's see what happens if we give it a shot. Right, so we get set up, ball a little bit farther back in stance than normal. Normal takeaway, a little loopy in the downswing. So I had a little bit of a draw bias, rolled out a ton. Okay, and that's what kind of we were looking for, right? So I didn't hit it the best either, but you still had that little bit of a draw bias. Sometimes it tends to roll out a little bit more. Now you can catch it really clean and it'll bite, it'll check hard. Like I said, today though with the dew, probably not likely. So let's try it again. I kind of towed that one just a bit. There we go. And again, that little draw bias might help hold the line. So again, all I'm trying to do different, and since I have such a short range of stroke, is like you can figure, you're trying to chase half of a figure 8. So it's kind of straight back on your normal takeaway, looping underneath a little bit higher follow through. And that little figure 8-ish type feel where you're going straight back, under, and up in front of your face is going to help facilitate a lot of that draw bias. Now again too, we can kind of release the face a little bit if we want to kind of make sure it rolls, so we can give that a little try. And that definitely going to tilt that spin axis left and get it rolling with a little bit of draw. So that's again a great shot for something sliding left or right on you to hold its line. Maybe it's a good way to get the ball to roll out if you want a little more roll out, right? So that way you don't have to fly it as far. It might be a good little low hit and runner shot. I've done that before too. And then to the opposite side of that spectrum, you have that little cutter shot, right? So we want to kind of do the things opposite of that. So again, it's still a pretty normal takeaway, except now I'm going to feel like I'm swinging over top the ball and left more, holding the face open instead of straight back under and closing the face. So we're going to go up, over, and left and try and hit a little cut shot. I like to move these up in my stance because that kind of gives me more room to swing left. Move the path a little more left. And that tends to give it a little bit more slice spin, which doesn't really exist. It really just tilts the spin axis to the right more. All right, I hate slice spin. I don't know why I said that. Maybe it must have been for you guys out there in YouTube land that talk that way. So let's try that again. Get my aim better. Ball a little up my stance. Feel that over the top. Hold the face open. Little cutter chip shot. And what you'll find is you might be able to swing at that little cutter shot, the little slice chip. You might be able to swing at that a little bit harder than you could the draw bias one because it's not going to convert as much compression. When I come over with the face home, it's going to be more of a glancing blow. When I get it more from the inside with the shut face, it's going to be more of a squeezed, compressed blow. So let's see if I can get one a little bit closer. I've hit the last two a little soft. There we go. So again, great little way to manipulate the golf ball to hold its line as you try and fight some of these slopes that you might play on the golf course where it's banking away from you. Great way to kind of keep things in check. So if you like this little high-speed tip, might have been something you'd never tried before on the golf course, let me know how it works out for you. Maybe it helps facilitate your chipping. Maybe you haven't tried to try the swing it the other direction and you got stuck 2 over the top or 2 underneath, and now trying to go the other way has fixed it. So give that a whirl too. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Share it with your friends. Go out there and make a bunch of birdies, y'all. And I'll talk to you soon. Be good.